welcome to In the Kitchen, conversations on IoT with Breadware. I'm your host, Kerry Siggins, CEO of Breadware, and I'm so excited to have Dermot O'Shea here today. He is the CEO of Tao Glass, and we're going to talk antennas and smart waste management systems and all kinds of fun things. So Dermot, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kerry. Excited to be here.
Wonderful. All right, so tell us a little bit about Tao Glass. What exactly do you do?
So yeah, we deliver digital transformation through IoT. So traditionally, as you mentioned, we're an antenna company, and so we still have that in our advanced components business unit, which provides antennas, cables, connectors, speakers, and soon to have magnetics for IoT companies. So we design those in with OEMs, and we help them integrate them in successfully to their products. And then our other business unit is our advanced technologies business unit, which has this smart waste end-to-end solution that you mentioned, and also does some custom IoT projects for OEMs.
Great. And you've been in the antenna business for a long time. I know that's what you're known for. How did this lead you to create IoT products?
Yeah, so we've been Tao Glass exists for 18 years, and we've built up a very strong brand through our antennas globally, and it's really been an evolution. So from helping customers design in antennas, you get to know their devices very well. And about 12 or 13 years ago, we started providing design assistance services, and we realized that we had built up a lot of capability in that area. Because we've worked on tens of thousands of cellular and GPS projects, so we know the do's and don'ts of how to design it. About 10 years ago, we attempted to do our own satellite router, which was a great hardware product, had everything integrated, Iridium, cellular, GPS, Wi-Fi, with all the antennas inside a small ruggedized enclosure. But it was our first attempt at software was a spectacular failure. And we underestimated the complexity of that. And the platform just was awful, and we just, it wasn't a good experience. But you win or you learn, okay? You never lose. So we learned a lot, and we learned that acquisitions was an easier way to do complex products sometimes. So from doing more design services, in the end, we acquired a company in 2018 in Ireland called Firmware that we'd worked on some customer projects with, and they had great capability in the design area, but also in platforms, in software. We all overnight had 34 software engineers that were very experienced. And then last year we acquired a company in Australia called Smart Sensor, and they had the smart waste solution that had been very successful in Australia. So it's really been an evolution. I could say something that sounds cool, like, we want to get into more sustainable products and help reduce carbon footprints. But the real reason is we want to have a recurrent revenue model as well, because as you know, that's where bigger company valuations come from.
Yeah. Now it's a little microcosm of what you guys have been going through at Breadware, but we made the same decision. I had a bunch of engineers saying, let's just build our own IoT cloud platform. We can do it. And I said, you're grossly underestimating what this is going to cost. And can we do it well? Because we're not a software company, at least not yet. So let's go acquire somebody. So I can feel that pain. I'm glad that I did not make the same mistake that you did of attempting to do it ourselves, because I think you're spot on. I think, acquiring that type of talent, especially when that's not your core business, is such a successful, it has the opportunity to be more successful than trying to do it on your own.
Yes, and especially these days, because as you know, on the engineering side, it's there's limited resources available. They're in high demand at the moment, particularly on machine vision, AI, and things like that we're seeing today. So if you have there's a team there that's nimble, that works well together, and that has some experience, then it's much faster to do it that way than try and build it out yourself.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the smart waste management system. So, what does it do? And tell us about how you acquired it and what you're planning to do with future development.
Yeah, so what it does is, so Smart Sensor is the sensors themselves have ultrasonic and optical sensors, and then they have cellular, Wi-Fi, LoRa options to report the level of a trash can back up to the Tao Glass Waste Insights platform. The platform then can automatically route vehicles in an efficient way to collect trash cans that are full. So you don't have vehicles that are unnecessarily collecting empty bins and things like that. So it immediately saves primarily probably municipalities and councils money on fuel and labour costs. And we've seen what that does is it frees up those same drivers to do other initiatives that the city are trying to do and haven't had time to do in the past. And then it's just good for the community and for tourism as well, because now you don't have bins that are full left with trash falling out of them that none of us like to see. So it's got a few advantages that way, but it's a fantastic solution because it's a no-brainer. You can show immediately how you can save people money and save on fuel, reallocate labour.
And are you selling that in the US or just in Australia?
No, that was, I suppose that's why the acquisition was a win-win. Leon Hayes is the founder of Smart Sensor. They were doing very well in Australia. One of the ways they actually started was they were the distributor of Big Belly Solar, solar-powered trash compactors that also are connected. They're actually a customer of ours and have been for a long time on the antenna side. But they realized that, the municipalities and cities love the Big Belly solution. And then by selling that, they also had a need to connect the non-solar powered trash cans, the smaller type ones really, that they have as well. So Leon saw an opportunity for that and developed that and has done very, very well in Australia. But, didn't have, I suppose, the resources to expand it globally. And that's where we came in with our 10 locations globally. And he's actually, from my own experience, we said like the best way to get into the US is you're going to have to move to the US. So he's moving here at the moment, and they're going to be moving to Austin. So we'll have another Tao Glass facility. So only starting in the US. So it's kind of exciting because it's we see a huge amount of opportunity in the US, especially with all the cities and councils having their sustainability targets and green initiative targets, and this plays nicely into that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so what comes next with the solution? I mean, how are you going to expand upon it, not just from a global reach, but from a technology perspective?
So again, yeah, that's a great question because we see, every customer wants more from this solution and they see opportunity. So right now we'll be launching one shortly that has capabilities to do dumpsters. And so we in Tao Glass in Europe, we've been developing machine vision and artificial intelligence solutions. So mainly for warehousing applications, cargo and things like that. But we're bringing that into the Waste Insights product as well. So there's some use cases like larger trash containers like dumpsters and things like that. There's solutions out there today, but it's been very mixed on how they read when a dumpster is full or not, because it can get blocked by one package or shadows, all sorts of things like that. So we've been like machine learning the solution to really detect when it's all actually full. And then another exciting use case is detecting when trash has been contaminated. So in the larger dumpsters, people illegally dumping contaminated trash because it's become very expensive to get rid of contaminated trash, particularly in countries like Canada that are, let's say, more advanced on being sustainable and environmentally friendly. So we're developing a machine vision solution for for that. That's almost ready. And also the machine vision can be incorporated into the existing smart sensor on the street trash can side of things, so that it's more accurate in how it detects when the bin is full. So yeah, it's quite advanced for that market, to be honest, because it does machine vision capability. Like the company we acquired, Firmwave, they were already working on it for a couple of years. We've been working on it for 3 years ourselves. So there's 5 years of engineering experience in there on the machine vision side. So we're trying to incorporate that into the smart waste side. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, sounds like it. And who knew waste could be so interesting? But it seems like there's a ton of opportunities, especially from the sustainability side. So, looking ahead into the bigger picture of IoT, how can solutions like yours really help companies and municipalities, cities who are looking to reach their sustainability goals?
Yeah, it's, like, I know there was always a saying back in Ireland, like, that there's money in dirt, right? But there's money in trash as well. And I was surprised at how, um, the, the like, not only is it that the actual, like, recycled part of it is worth a lot of money, like if you properly recycle metal or concrete, and there's a value to consolidating that, but like how expensive it is to actually get rid of trash nowadays, especially for larger enterprises that are in construction or manufacturing, with the waste that they have. It's becoming very, very expensive to manage their waste, basically. It can't just, throw it in the landfill, or pour it into the river anymore, right? So they have to get rid of it in an expensive way. So managing that, there's a fantastic opportunity, and on for the municipality and councils, like we've seen, there's immediate returns on investments for all sorts of IoT initiatives, from being able to remotely monitor any of their assets, not just their trash and their waste. And it just cuts on man hours, it cuts down on us having to drive out to equipment to see what's wrong with it, and cuts down on our usage as well, which is the big one, right? So our energy usages in all aspects. And that's why IoT did well during the pandemic, for example. Like our market grew for all of us during the pandemic, even though our factories were shut down for some time. Things bounced back very quickly, and the market continued to grow. And I think it's because everyone was able to see how IoT saves you money and makes your business more efficient. And the pandemic kind of gave them time to stand back and say, okay, now we have time to implement this. Let's finally go ahead and get it done, and make the best use of it. So I think that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, I agree. And so, building upon that, what does the future look like for Tao Glass, and what are you most excited about?
So yeah, the future is very bright for both of our business units and all the areas that we're in. And because I said the market's growing, I think there's an insatiable appetite for more technology, more functionality, higher performance, for where our advanced components business comes in. And then solving complex problems is what our other business unit does. So huge opportunities there. I'm very excited about it. And then this year, I'm really excited we're going to be opening a facility in India. So it's design and small assembly operation first, but it kind of feels like China 20 years ago. Like the pricing is super competitive, and the market is very open to having foreign investment come in. And we see like all the big guys like Apple and Samsung are starting there at the same time. So very excited about that.
Oh, congratulations. That is exciting. Next big
Yeah,
step.
thanks.
All right. My final question before we wrap things up. What's the best piece of advice you have for companies or entrepreneurs who are looking to develop IoT products?
Yeah, so the best piece of advice is, don't try and do it yourself. There's lots of experienced companies out there like Breadware and Tao Glass that can really help accelerate your time to market. And like we have a saying, we want to get to market on time the first time, because delays and certification issues, and they really increase your costs. So there's lots of experts out there nowadays, lots of people who have done it before. So just talk to the experts. Make sure that the people that you're working with have done it before, and that you're not the guinea pig for them, basically. So make sure they have the experience. Ask them to show you examples of their successes in that area, and that'll really, really help. And I think it's kind of like building a house. It's you want to pick an architect that's designed houses and gone through the planning process in your particular area, and it's going to cost you more than you think, and it's going to take longer than you think. Sorry. That's just the reality of it.
Oh my gosh, I so agree. That's actually how we met Breadware. Stone Age met Breadware, and eventually wound up acquiring them. Was we were getting ready to develop our first IoT-enabled product, and started to do some of it in-house, and realized like we are so far out of our element. We need some help, and so it was really nice to be able to call on the experts, and obviously the relationship was really great, and we could wind up acquiring them. But I agree with you completely. We definitely learned a lot about what to do and what not to do because we worked with experts. So I completely agree.
Good. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's critical. Yeah. And it takes a lot of people to do it.
Yeah.
It's takes a lot more engineers than you think, and a lot more product managers and all to get it right. Where I've seen a lot of companies will go, oh, we have a hardware engineer and we have a software engineer, and they're great, so we'll be fine. It takes a big team to get it done quick and get it done right.
Yeah, agreed. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of that. Before we go, how can people find you, and how can people find Tao Glass?
So yeah, it's TAOGLAS.com. So everything's there. You can reach us through all the social media norms and any way you prefer. But I would reach out to the closest office that's there for you. That's one of our strengths, is we have a global presence, 10 locations, and that's what those locations are there for, to talk to and support the customer through that IoT journey. So reach out to them.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, Dermot. This was very interesting, and I wish you a lot of success. I'm excited to see what you guys do. It sounds like you're very ambitious and got some good goals ahead of you.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Kerry. It's been great. Really appreciate the invite.
Yeah, thanks everyone.